Hello and welcome. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, Chani Nicholas. In this podcast, we talk about the quality of time that we're about to go live through. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the week of June 19th and how to best work with this week, what to keep in mind, what to look out for, what to watch out for, and what to celebrate. And what greater thing to celebrate than the solstice? No matter what hemisphere you're in, the solstice is a time of peak experience. It's either the shortest day or the longest day. And either way, it's a moment of extreme that our ancestors from time immemorial took note of, right? We need to understand the cycles and the seasons, and the ways in which the sun impacts us are great and massive. And before we had electricity and heat and all these fancy things, we had the sun. And so I feel that it's not that far off to say it's baked into our DNA, maybe way, way, way back, but it's in there, that this would be a moment that we would mark collectively. And if you're in a community that does so, then great. And if you're not, you might think about how to rally your best and sweetest pals and family members and people that feel like family members, because this solstice is the sun's entrance into Cancer. And that's what Cancer is all about. Cancer says, let's bond, let's share food, let's cry on each other's shoulder, like, get in, loser, we're going to go have big feelings. This is a sign that wants to create family and wants to bond with people over initiating an emotional experience. And at least in the Northern Hemisphere, this is a really celebratory moment most times because it marks that moment of summer. What's the song of the summer going to be? What's the mood of the summer going to be? And we've got a lot of big astrology this summer. This is kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but we are going to have a Venus retrograde eventually. So there's going to be a lot to do, a lot to think through, feel through, and ponder in regards to our relationships. But before we get there, the sun moves in to Cancer. Cancer season begins. The solstice is here. And it's such a good time to, again, gather with friends and celebrate being able to be outside and enjoy the long, lingering light of the moment and just being human on this earth in this moment. The most uncomplicated things can sometimes bring us the greatest amount of joy. And I do think that's in part what Cancer season is about. It is about enjoying each other and enjoying the season, enjoying the water, enjoying the senses. You know, it's a sign that is so sensitive. It's a sign that takes in everything through its ability to perceive the feeling of it. And so, break out those summer novels, break out all of the summer activities that you love doing. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then I hope it's cozy, I hope it's warm, I hope it helps you to snuggle in with the people that you love. So that's midweek, move into Cancer season. But before we get there, and what permeates really all week, is the fact that there's a really stabilizing force at work. And I want us to really think about this. I talked a lot about this in this week's individual readings. I want you to think about what you've done, the changes that you've made, or the things that you've committed to since about March of 2023. And which of those commitments are starting to show some good growth or starting to reveal the ways in which those commitments themselves are helping you to expand and even flourish. I say all that because Jupiter is making a sextile with Saturn. Saturn is in Jupiter's sign. Jupiter is in a sign of lushness and loves to savor anything good and wonderful. Jupiter's in Taurus. So Jupiter's in Taurus, Saturn is in Pisces. Jupiter is governing Saturn's journey through there. And this week they're making a sextile, which means they're really excited by each other and what each other is doing. Saturn loves something that takes a long time and is worth the work that you have to put in. And Jupiter in Taurus is like, yes, let's unfold, let's enjoy, let's have something grow into a sustainable orchard that we can depend upon for the abundance and the beauty for years and years and years to come. So there's this feeling of having the commitments that we've made show some kind of goodness in our life or reveal some kind of abundance to us. Because again, Jupiter is in charge of Saturn and they're really friendly right now. And so they're on each other's side. Saturn brings structure, rules, organization, boundaries. So a lot of the things that you've been able to say no to will also start to pay off now, or we'll see the positive side effects of being able to eliminate certain things from your life, all depending on where Saturn is in your chart right now and where Jupiter is. Again, I go through this in your reading this week on the Chani app. But either way, just thinking about what you've been able to commit to in terms of your own personal life and projects and maybe even personal boundaries, and the ways in which those have helped you to experience a sense of flourishing or unfolding or even a subtle opening. That's what I want you to focus on this week. There's something that's happening that's really helpful, and it requires our hard work and our integrity and our ability to cut things out. And it requires us to be able to be true to our word. So that's what permeates the week. That is a bigger kind of piece of astrology because Jupiter and Saturn are slow moving planets. So when they finally do line up, they make a statement. So it is a pretty important thing to reflect on. And it's a nice thing. It's a good thing. It's an exciting thing. It's a happy thing, if you will. And then Wednesday, we move into Cancer season. On the same day as Cancer season, we've got Mercury making a sextile to Mars, which helps us to say something difficult or helps us to move in the direction that we want to with courage and conviction and communicate as such. But by Sunday, Mercury gets into a square with Neptune, and it feels like things go a little awry, things get a little mushy. So I just want to say this. If you are the kind of person that has like the weekend off and you close up shop on Friday or Saturday or even Sunday, I just want you to double check whatever it is you're shutting down at the end of the week, because this kind of astrology will tend to tangle things up Sunday into Monday. And Monday also, Monday the 26th, we'll talk about that next week, but Monday the 26th also has some, let's say, slightly volatile, disruptive astrology. So the mixture of the two things I don't love for business as usual. So we can expect the unexpected on Monday the 26th. But I just want to say, like, going into the weekend and into the beginning of next week, you can use this little bit of like an orange flag in your own life to say, like, let me just make sure. Let me just see. Did I send the thing? Did I close that down? Did I double check that they got the memo? Anything that you need to do, do it. And also, I would say, don't expect anything to work out as planned on Sunday and enjoy what does come to fruition. I think the ways in which we can lower our expectations for Sunday the 25th, the better. And just kind of like go with flow and see what happens. All right, y'all. That's it. That's the reading for the week. Go forth, have your solstice, be cute, have fun, be with family and friends, and remember that this is something to enjoy and it's something to mark. And the more we kind of gather around these moments and celebrate, I think the greater connection we feel to each other and also the cycles that we live within. And that can just like add to some happiness in our life. And the world's kind of hard, so any and all amount of that can be really, really useful. Thank y'all so much for leaving us reviews in the App Store. I wanted to share one with you. It's called This App Makes Me a Better Person. It's by Phoebe Taylor. I listen to the week ahead every Monday morning while I plan my week. And while I love the reminders from astrology to keep going, slow down, etc., what I really think the Chani app gives me is permission to be myself and therefore be a better person to the world. It reminds me each week and day what I value and what is important to me and what I want to share. Thank you, Chani and team. And by the way, customer support is 11 out of 10, kind and helpful. The only app you ever actually need. Sending you lots of love, many blessings. I will see you back here next week. Bye for now.